So, I don't know why, but I get notifications whenever there's like a trending post on female dating strategies. I did peruse the site a bit, but for some reason Reddit thought that I actually was like a regular viewer or something, or that like I really love this stuff or something. I don't know. So, so I clicked on this one, and it brought me to this TikTok video that I'm going to dissect. So here we go.
They don't care about women anymore because society is telling women that they're all queens and that they all deserve a top-notch man and that none of them should settle. So they have a long list of things that make a guy attractive, and only 25% of men meet that list.
Sure. I mean, the idea, the truth of the matter is it's really hard to genuinely quantify um the percentage of males that women actually find attractive. I mean, because one, you would just have to, you would have to control for modern women and women of the past, because women who are older than us, women in a different generation, they find traits attractive a little bit different than modern women do. In fact, interestingly enough, you could court women 50 years ago. Our grandparents could be courted. Our grandparents could not initially be attracted to someone, and through time and effort, even through poetry sometimes, believe it or not, they could be swayed and say, you know what, I see the value in you. You know what, let's be with each other, and then marry each other, and then and be done. They could do that, not always, but there's this idea that you can invest time in someone and your feelings can grow and blossom and change. In fact, I'm not really even sure if it was particularly an idea they had. It was just something they did. You could court women. Nowadays, not really. Nowadays, most women is a snap judgment. It's either you turn them on immediately, or you never turn them on at all. That's just that. There's not much to courting, and so it's hard to really grasp what is the true percentage. I used to, people would always say we got the 80-20 rule. It was actually something I came up with when I was much younger on YouTube. um and it was a phenomenon I had noticed, and I say more realistically, it would probably be more like a 70-30 kind of distribution, or more realistically a 35-65 kind of distribution, if we're going to be realistic to the complexities of reality and what women are willing to kind of like settle for, like what their cost benefit analysis is. It's just the conversation is just more kind of you can't really codify anything simply if you're going to be honest about talking about this type of stuff, with saying that, like, it's a 25 or it's a 20% of men get all the. That's not really accurate. It's which, again, it would be more accurate is there's more of there's a funneling, basically. So it's like the closer you get up to the top, the more women want that guy. And there's like steps between there. I guess you could say, yeah, but that's the top 20% that could not. It's like, not really. It's, again, it's a funneling. It's more, women are oftentimes more attracted to the same guy, the same type of man, the same person. Sometimes, literally, they more all want the same thing. Usually, the women of modernity. So they're more focused on trying to get that. But to say it's specifically 20%, no. It's more, you have to understand that with a grain of salt. You have to understand that you can't look at it literally. You have to understand the principle. The principle is women want a margin of males that just isn't feasibly obtainable from most of society. It's not feasibly attainable for them. It's not feasibly obtainable for most males to be that kind of man, because the more men attempt to hit that status, the more the bar reaches and gets pushed up higher, because, again, mostly the idea, it isn't so much like the forging of good relationships. That's not really the challenge for most young ladies. It's more trying to carve a path of luxury. The modern woman is more out for luxury and comfort than she is out for partnership and strength and perseverance, and like trying to make life better for herself and for her husband. It's not about battling life together. It's about coasting through life with someone that has a whole bunch of stuff that you want. That's really what the issue be. So, again, what's important And the reason why I'm spending so much time talking about this is just, for you in the audience, when you hear 25%, top 20, again, it's not really, you don't take it literally. Just understand that women funnel up usually to the same type of men. They're attracted to the same type of men usually, and that causes a lot of women to be rotated out by these guys who oftentimes aren't good people, just to be frank.
And then women look around and go, how come I can't find a good guy? You know why? Because you guys are rotating the same 25% of men. And you can't blame those men.
Well, you can. You never absolve anybody of responsibility. At least you never really should. There comes a certain point, however, where something is so obviously bad that if you mess with it, you can't really. There's not really much of a counter to it. If you walk up to a diamondback rattlesnake, you know what I'm saying, and you tap it on the forehead, you know what I'm saying. And that is hard to make a counter argument, So the truth is, you could still say with great power comes great responsibility. Just because you have access to lots of women does not mean that you should rotate them out like they're just, fleshlights. That's not good. It's not good for your soul. And just because you have things that someone wants doesn't mean that you have license to mistreat them. Simple. These men aren't absolved, but the reality of the situation be that they do have more options. And because these people are oftentimes closer to the psychopathic and sociopathic, or like the worst elements of being a human, just oftentimes the men that are hyper competitive and seek so much success and seek so much material thing, they're not oftentimes people of the soul. They're not oftentimes people of the virtue. They're not oftentimes they're not, there's not a combination of someone just so good and wonderful and they just want to help society, help people out. They're oftentimes more cruel, they're more savage, they're more cutthroat, they're willing to hurt people, they're really more willing to lie, they're more willing to manipulate in order to get to those top areas. And because those are those character traits, there's oftentimes a trade-off there, in society. So the point is, those people, they're not absolved of like treating people well. It's just unfortunately, it's being kind of not a good human that can offer you lots of success in society, So this is just important to kind of note, just to be clear. You don't have a license to mistreat people just because you have lots of things. You just don't.
I know. God, just much to think about. You know what I mean? Do y'all ever sprint so far past the point that you take a fucking lap and then meet us right back here?
What kind of battle have I stepped into? I feel like I should grab my dual disc and get ready to fucking play a children's trading card game with a laugh like that. You laugh like a Saturday morning cartoon villain. Holy spit.
Because that's essentially what you did. Everything you said was right, but not for the reasons that you think. And honestly, that's impressive.
Well, to be fair, my friend, he, technically speaking, was so general about what he said, you could honestly project anything onto him. But you see, I'm a little bit more switched on, and I talk on YouTube because in order to have any real intellectual conversation, you need a little bit more than 30 bloody seconds to prove your point. A lot of people don't realize that, but
Next, anyone who seriously submits to this ideology of red pill versus blue pill, invalid.
To be fair, I think red pill versus blue pill has kind of like lost a little bit of the plot over the time. But I mean, the analogy should begin and end with one understanding is you kind of understand how the world works, and the other one is you're kind of a little bit delusional to how things operate. There's a lot that goes into the red pill ideology that's kind of taken a life of its own in the manosphere, and I just think that the long and short of it is what we've been raised as young males does not match up to the reality of what women say. And so no matter, you could call it what it is, the truth of the matter be, what women say they want is not what they respond to. Done.
Anything you say after that, quite literally, it's Simlish to me. Can't understand it. All I hear when you talk after that is that you jerk it to Joe Rogan. That's all I hear.
Yeah, Joe Rogan is not the patron saint of the red pill. If there ever was a patron saint of the red pill, it would probably honestly be Roosh V. Not only because he was one of the more mainstream Sons of Guns. I mean, not only did he have his own like forum, not only was he like literally taken upon national television and then roasted and lambasted by a group of fat women on the Dr. Oz show. I mean, it's Roosh V kind of was able to codify a lot of the points and ideologies, and then he had Return of Kings, which was article based, where a lot of other guys, mostly who spun off into becoming, I guess, Red Pill thought leaders. Again, usually started on Return of Kings or articles on Roosh V's site. Yeah, if anyone is going to be like, and even then, Roosh V wouldn't count now because now he's an Orthodox Christian. He kind of moved on from that stuff. But it's not Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan. I mean, Joe Rogan. He's not really all that switched on in general. Let's just be real. I don't even know why you brought up Joe Rogan. That's kind of like, he's not the person you go to for red pill ideology or red pill conversations. Nah, definitely not Joe Rogan.
What you said was in support of women, and I feel like that wasn't your goal. You said that women have these impossibly high standards that a very small percentage of men can meet. You didn't include yourself, which, oof.
If you as a young lady wish to date a male that is 6 feet tall or taller, that's literally 4% of the population done just with that one standard alone. Then you have to factor in that this some gun has to be physically attractive to you to some regard. So we take 4% and we can just shave that one down probably to about 3. Let's just be gracious. And just cut off 1%. So 3% of all men over 6 feet tall is facially attractive to you as a young lady. Now let's also consider the fact that he must also have enough money to support you in some regard. So he has to make as much or more money as you. So let's say that you make, if we lowball it, just 40,000, which is a little bit less than average than most people make in America, I think. You're talking about, let's just shave off 0.5%. So 2.5% of the population has to match what you want just by those 3 standards alone. We're not considering he's got to like the same books if you read books. He's got to like the same movies you like or the same TV shows. He's got to be able to have intellectual conversation. As if very many women truly care about the complexities of reality and philosophy. When have you ever had a conversation with a woman about Rene Descartes? Exactly. You never have. And which you find it particularly interesting that lots of women say they mark intelligence on that list of things, and yet they don't actually ever really talk complexly about the world. I've tried to do it a few times. It's not to say there are no women. In fact, there are some. There have been plenty of women that have been very intelligent that I've loved talking to. But if I have to say generally, you're not going to be talking about like sociological like issues and problems with women in a complex fashion. Not like this oftentimes. Not like my YouTube videos, unfortunately. Which again, for better or for worse, which to be fair, you don't really need a super intelligent person to have a relationship with anyway. It's fine. But the point being is that like if you're a woman and you say you want intelligence, then you want all these interesting complex conversations, well then we got to take that 2.5% and let's just cut down 0.5% again if we're just being gracious and say we're left with 2% of people in society that are 6 feet tall, make as much money as you, are handsome, and then they're intelligent, and then we have to factor in, is he kind? Is he loyal? Is he gonna stay with you and not go out and try to cheat on you? We gotta shave off another percentage there. Again, just trying to be gracious. You're left with 1.5% of the population. That's just being gracious. And even, let's just say we just add everything back, and you can find all of that. If we just presuppose, if we just start with height, you still are only operating with 4% of the population. Now, let's be fair. Are women more particularly picky on height? Yes. Does this mean that short guys can't have sex with women? No, that's dumb. Of course they can't. Short people obviously reproduce because they fucking exist. But the point is, when you start adding up the standards, and that's just starting with height. I mean, just being an attractive male is a lot stricter for women than it is for men. And women are a lot more narrow in what they find attractive in males than men are in women. The point being that women have a very narrow margin of what they want and what they like, okay? And as much as they pretend otherwise, or much as they pretend that it's general and that anyone can meet it, they can't. And that's the problem that our young man here was trying to articulate.
And then it's essentially women's fault that they can't find anyone because they refuse to date the garbage.
Now, you see, my friend, the fact that you consider everyone you don't want to be garbage is a little bit of is again, the issue is kind of his point. It's the fact that you agree that there's only a small portion of males you can date, which, let's just be honest, it's just complete and utter foolishness. It's just complete utter hogwash that just there's only a small portion of dudes in all of society and reality that are dateable. Really? Come on, it's absurd to think that you can cast off large portions of civilization and society as worthy enough to reproduce for all of what reason. It's certainly not because of virtue. It's certainly not because you don't think that these men are kind and courageous and smart and intelligent. That's not why they're not worthy. Let's be real. That's not, as the female mind is not thinking, wow, man, I need the once and future king of Britain. I need someone worthy enough to pull Caliborn from its from the stone here. No one is that kind of hard and strong of character. Geez. There's only 25% of men that are just that morally good and just steadfast. That's not really the issue that women are facing when they discount men from reproduction. Let's just call it what it is, you know? So it's like, again, The problem isn't the fact that like there's a narrow margin of males. Well, I mean, it is kind of a little bit of an issue, but that's more of the practical issue. You know, the more you would say socio issue, the more moral issue is the fact that the criterion of which women are really categorizing men is not really one of any degree of character, any degree of actually being a good person or attempting to be a good person. It's economic status. It's money is your power level. Status is your power level. Clout is your power level. And if you don't reach that, well then just kind of dead on arrival.
Did I get that right? That's like me trying to choose a restaurant to eat. One of them's 5 stars. The other serves rat shit. Me and all my fellow bitches are like, no thanks to the rat shit, I'm gonna go to the nice restaurant. And then the head chef of the rat shit restaurant comes out and is like, you're wondering why you're waiting in line? You're waiting for edible food.
Now, see, my friend, this is the issue that you're having here. You've taken something that should be understood as a spectrum, and you've turned it into a dichotomy. It's yay or it's nay, but that's absurd because people aren't coin flips. People are too complex and have too much potential to simply say never and oh absolutely yes, I will do anything and everything I can to keep you, because that's what happens when you create a yay or nay dichotomy. You're willing to do more to keep the yay because you don't think you can ever find the yay again because there's so much no and nope. But that's not how people work. It's not a dichotomy. It's not the ultimate super best male that we all females want, because again, you do understand that you have just created a gigantic competition between you and all the other women in your life, right? If you are going to surmise that yes, only 25% of men are able to be dated, then you do realize that's 75% of women that will never find someone to date, or they'll never be happy or satisfied, right? Is that what you want to argue as well, dumbass? But more importantly than that, you created a dichotomy that just doesn't exist. It's not everyone else is just this awful human being. You just don't think they look good. And because you don't think they look good off of the initial spark or snap attraction, you don't want to take the time to get to know them. You don't want to invest in people because you don't think that there'll be enough of return because they don't give you enough validation. That's the problem. That'd be the issue. You could find lots of great men that were fat, and then you can encourage them to work out. You can give them P90X and work out with them. How many women want to do that? You can buy them a pull-up bar and then work out with them. But you don't. You don't take projects. You don't see value in people. You don't care about the growth of human beings. You could buy him a Bible and do Bible study with him and try to help him, encourage him to be a much better human being. You can tell him to just go read the book of Romans, but you won't. You don't. Because what's important is, again, it's not character, it's not good people, it's not even striving or attempting to be good. You want material, you want things. And you're going to say that that's not what you really want, but again, if you were truly after virtue, you would have it. These people aren't hiding.
Dumb bitches. Do you see how that logic is just like, where is it, mama? Where is it? I can't find it. And these impossibly high standards is like basic level shit.
Oh, here it comes.
Like, must be nice to me, must respect me, must not be offensive.
I don't know, that last one's a little bit relative though. I'm black and I use the word nigga regularly. Does that offend you? Are you offended if I use the word nigga? Or is it nigga? If I say nigga, are you going to be? Are your feelings going to be hurt? It's that kind of thing. It's that kind of thing. I don't know if it's offensive or not.
There's probably other shit that's less important, but that's the fucking crux of it.
You better not be single, because if I find out that you're single, something ain't. It would be as if your words do not line up with your actions. So if I go on Instagram, I better find that you're married. And
y'all really sit on this app and say shit. Oh my god, bro, I have to jump through so many fucking hoops.
Sometimes it's not even so much of like jumping through hoops, it's as much as like not jump. It's like making sure you don't step on grenades either, because women are quick to discount you. If you say something wrong, if you have a wrong opinion, actually you just kind of proved the case in point there. Don't be offensive. There's many more ways to fail when talking to women than there are ways to succeed. And I think that's kind of its own problem right there, honestly.
I had to jump through so many hoops in order to get laid. I have to be fucking nice to this bitch? Fuck this shit, bro. I'm not doing this anymore, huh? No, dude, she said I have to be nice to her or else she's not gonna fuck me.
But yeah, see, like this is the problem. This is the problem squared. This is the problem magnified. You joking and mockingly say that all we have to do to date women is be nice to them. Must I respond? I got like 600 videos on YouTube, man. I don't know. What am I supposed to... Come on! You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's like... this is why, like... And again, I feel like the red pill and blue pill and the purple pill stuff has kind of lost the plot. Truly, I do. But it's like, this is why people still say you have blue pill nonsense. And it's just a total lack of like empathy and self-awareness here. Like an astonishingly amount of lack of self-awareness on this one. It's like, lady, do you really think you must, but to honestly and earnestly think, that men are honestly complaining about treating women well when all we've ever been programmed to do is treat them well is honestly the main concern, is the main problem? Only 25% of men are nice to women? Only 25% of men aren't offensive to women? Only 25% of... Really? It's like, come on, dude. This is... You guys are right. You guys have all came to the same conclusion, but it is kind of funny to me how you came to the same conclusion, both of them, coming from different points of view. It's just that you kind of believe your own farts that you're putting out there.
Like, embarrassing, dude. You're right though. I agree with you on everything, cause she won't. Have fun on vacay.
Bro, I swear, if I spend another minute on that video, I'm just gonna go straight to the shadow realm. Holy spit, bro. She had a laugh like Skeletor. What the I don't know if she was doing that on accident or I don't know, bro, but that was something else, dude. She laughs like a gremlin, dude. Oh my goodness, bro. She was about to play the CeeLo Orichalcos, bro. Bro, she was about to capture the Thundercats with that laugh. Jesus. Okay, I know. My bad for cooking her for that laugh, but oh my goodness. Alright, so in conclusion, there's like a grain of salt we all kind of have to take here. And the grain of salt being is that the margin of success for males in like finding relationships with women probably isn't as narrow as 20%. Unless you would argue that even though women do inevitably settle for some of the schlubby guys and that they secretly hope or desire for the top 20% at some point, like the sort of some Christian Grey to come steal them out their marriage, that certainly does exist, and honestly is its own beast that truly does need to be tackled, like earnestly does. Someone has to. I'll do it. Fine, I'll do it. But the point is, the truth, the margin of success, it probably really isn't as narrow or as small as that. The point being is that the margin of success is still narrow. It's still a funnel. It's still women are bottling up towards, the most successful males, or their standards are so strict and restrictive, and what they want is so ironclad and inflexible that they end up just dying alone because they don't want to settle, they don't want to compromise, they don't see value in men outside of whatever structure they created in their mind. That is just the long and short of it. This dichotomy of yay or nay is not really helpful to a lot of women, because a lot of women have the illusion of choice, and it is truly an illusion, because no matter how many men may constantly say hey, hi, and chirp at them, you can't really invest in all of them. No matter how much any dude gets a whole bunch of different girls to have sex with, you can't really invest in all of them. You don't really have as much choice in human beings as much as you think, because humans aren't objects that can be used and discarded. And that's kind of one of the biggest issues here. We keep treating people like they're things and they're objects instead of people that have experiences and thoughts and feelings and things to say or things to do. Sure, some people might be stupid in some regards or slow in another, but that doesn't mean they don't have value or they can't bring comfort in your life. There's something to a lot of people that has to be sought and looked at and invested into. People don't want to do that because they're too scared they're going to get bloody hurt. They don't trust nobody. Their feelings, they're going to hurt my feelings. They're going to leave me and abandon me. And they might. And I think that's kind of the thing that makes relationships kind of beautiful, is to trust that two people give to each other eventually. The point being is that women are a lot of them aren't willing to do so unless you are strictly adhered to whatever they want. It's a bottleneck. And to pretend that bottleneck is based on being nice to girls is just absurd. It's just downright delusional, because you're a single woman and you cannot pretend that there aren't plenty of men who are trying to be nice to you. If you are pretending that, you are again delusional. And you need to check that out, because you can't waft around in this world believing that there aren't any men who will be more than willing enough of just trying to be nice to you and treat you well. With that being said, I assume you guys got something out of today's video. You probably didn't, but if you did, man, go ahead and click the like button. Make sure you go and click that subscribe button. Comment in the comment box below, and as always, you guys have yourselves a great day. I'll see you cool cats soon. Adios.